It is 8:10 on the morning show with Adele. Easy on me. 27 degrees downtown Charlotte City. Good morning, Kay Winkleman.
Good morning, Christopher. Happy Thursday.
It is a happy Thursday. It might not be such a happy Friday, though, with the weather.
Unless you love to build snowmen.
Well, I don't. So there's that.
So there.
Anyway, we got the special guest in the studio. Of course, it is the Charlotte City Community Schools Day here in the morning show. Do you want to do the honors, Kay?
I do.
This is exciting.
Well, I knew somebody was coming in, and I sure didn't know it was the one, the only Laney Hemesath. Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, the last time, I got to do this. The last time I saw you, you were, I don't know, 4 foot something. You've grown up.
Just a bit.
Jeez. And you're doing some exciting things.
Yes.
What grade are you?
I'm in 10th grade.
Okay. So, as a 10th grader, you're already looking ahead, it seems, to your future.
Yes, ma'am. So in the CNA class, we're doing a lot of hands-on projects with learning how to take care of someone in a care facility or a hospital, helping them perform daily life activities.
Identify CNA.
It is a certified nursing assistant.
Okay. Just so that somebody out there might not know. Okay, sorry to interrupt. Go right on.
Oh, that's pretty much it. We're just learning basically how to care for someone in a care facility or hospital, help perform activities for them.
Now, are you doing all of that at the high school, or are you in a setting?
So for the first part, we're in the high school, and then February 28th, we start clinicals at Chautauqua, which we wouldn't really be able to have our program without Chautauqua because they provide hands-on experience. Or Kathy Zarinsky, she's our medical person, so she can check off our skills and certify that we're able to do this.
So in the high school part of this, is that more book learning or hands-on with, like the dummies? How do you do that?
When we're at the high school, we try to focus mostly on the hands-on part because that's when we have all of our resources in front of us. We have beds that we practice making. We have a dummy called Annie. Yeah, we practice with her a lot. And then we have stethoscopes, blood pressure monitors, practice all that.
Awesome. What led you to be interested in taking this?
My grandparents, actually. My grandma was a nurse, and she exposed me to medical stuff really early. And about 10 years ago, my grandpa had medical issues, and so I've been able to help take care of him, and that really got me interested in it.
That is so amazing. And it takes a special person to want to do that. So you're a sophomore,
yes.
Got a couple of years ahead of you yet. But you obviously have plans. What do you feel your future looks like?
As of now, I am planning to finish a CNA course and go to college to get my BSN and be a traveling nurse.
Oh, wow, cool. Once you get this CNA program out of the way, then you actually be employed at Chautauqua?
Yes, we will have a job opening for us ready right after clinicals, probably after spring break we're employed.
Wow. Then you're really going to get the hands on and you'll have that. All that experience with 2 years of high school, that's incredible. Very cool. Very cool. Wow. Congratulations. It's nice to see you.
You too.
You're a woman now. I hope your mom and dad are listening.
Oh, they probably are.
Justin, hop on in. Isn't that cool?
It is. I mean, and here's what 4:30 in the morning is hard for me to get up in the morning, let alone, high school student. So, I mean, that's incredibly impressive. And, really what I want to say is, this is exactly what we're looking at doing. We're taking everything that they learned from their, K through 10 career and, and then 11th and 12th grade. Let's say, okay, let's get out there and actually try and, implement that and put that into compassionate, competent problem solving. And, this is exactly the kind of thing that we're looking at, and we're looking to expand this even more. We have high expectations of accountability for our students. This is one of those examples. You can't show up to work at, CNA, not show up at 4:30, not get up at 4:30, be ready for that 5:45 class, because, there isn't a lot of, one of those life skills is let's show up on time. And so, that's a huge thing that they're learning in here. And so high expectations, high accountability, that they know what they're talking about, and really that's one of the things that we've really pushed. One of the things that you'll hear is that we have raised expectations of our students over the last couple of years. We're starting to see that is really taking off from a standpoint of test scores, which everyone was really focused on. 93% of our middle school students showed growth in math in the last time that we took standardized tests. 90% of our high school students showed growth in math, and that's absolutely key. We know that we are increasing rigor. We are proud to see our students putting into work. We are proud to see everything that's going into this. Our teachers are working with a new curriculum, and we know this. The state would like to see, just as a reminder, the state would like to see a 0.5 increase in scores every year. Last year, our math scores in Charles City Community Schools climbed 7% at the middle school and 9% at the high school. And so what we're doing is working. We know it's tough. We know there's a lot of work going into it. We know there are things that are actually, there are people who are, I'll go back to my personal family. There are people who are spending hours and hours a night to get this, but they're putting in the work, and it will show off in things like CNA students and being responsible and all of those things that we're striving for. Good deal.
Laney, I want to have you jump in. I know there was, and not to be on the spot, but you're in 10th grade, and there's been a lot of discussion about this math on social media. And just last night, my husband spent almost 3 hours with Jada on it, and it is a struggle. And so, as a student, do you understand that it is a struggle? I mean, the end game is for a good cause. You as a student feel that way?
I definitely do think it's challenging because we haven't seen it before, and it's all new and interesting. And some students are struggling with it, but I think the majority of them just don't want to accept the change. And so I think we could really improve these with the new curriculum.
So you feel confident that at the end of the day, this new way of doing that is going to be,
once people get used to it, it can definitely help. Yes.
okay. That's very important to hear from a student. We can hear from parents who complain, because personally, I have no clue how to help Jada. We can hear from teachers as to why it's happening. From school board, we got increased test scores, but ultimately it is affecting the student the most. It's good to hear their perspective of it.
It is. And actually, we're going to, one of the classes is actually going to be coming out with some tips from student perspective on, things like, hey, guess what? You have to do your homework. And we're sitting here joking about this, but if you don't put in the work, then you're not going to get the results that you're looking for. And that seems so basic and so simple, but it is so fundamental to everything in life that, people need to put the work in, and then they can get the results.
And I think, like, you're in a position now, do you feel like, because now you're in high school, now you have a goal, you want to be a nurse. Can you go back a couple of years to your middle school years and say, and I'm wondering, as a middle schooler, did you feel like it would have been worth it?
I definitely wish in middle school I would have put more work into my math. Like Justin said, when you put the work in and actually do it, you see results. Instead, I used to procrastinate a lot, and it would negatively affect me. And I think it was the curriculum, but I actually wasn't doing the work.
Yeah. And be kind of cool, and maybe this is in the works, is have a group of people like me who isn't one a senior yet, who could relate to these middle schoolers on their level, because they're just out of it.
We actually have a student testimonial that's ready to come out next week. So,
I mean,
specifically on that, yes.
having them go to the middle schoolers and say, you know what, I was in your position a couple of years ago, and here's the deal. Now I'm in 10th grade or 11th grade, and it is hard, but it is worth it. I really think that might make an impact for these kids. Rather than we parents and the teachers harping about it's important for test scores.
Sometimes peer support really does make a big difference. You bet.
My daughter, I can get a test for my daughter. She doesn't care about statewide test scores. She wants to learn it, but it's frustrating.
And here's the thing, I actually think that narrative amongst our students is changing as well, where they're starting to come back and say, I remember a story from about 3 years ago where hey, they came into Mr. Duran's office and the class came in and said, we are so sorry because we just we were juniors at the time. It was like 3-4 years ago. It was, they came in and they said, we just didn't care anymore. We didn't care about state standards. We didn't realize this was such a big deal to the school, to us, and to our future. And
why would they at the 7th grade level?
Well, I mean, and here's the thing. So, we said, okay, they need, students need to understand the significance of this. And that's why, one of the things that from a district standpoint that we do is, we have the MAP testing. And I know that we've talked about that, but just a reminder, MAP testing is not a state standardized test. What it is, it's more of a test where you go in and it's like, okay, let's do an assessment. Let's see where you're at. Let's see where Justin's at on, in these levels. And then we come in and we say, okay, Justin needs a little help here. And so that is, either refocused on if it's in the entire class or individual help is given to that student to make sure that they're grasping that concept. And so that is beforehand. And so it's like, hey, so that we can get you to the point so that when you know what you're seeing when it comes to actually to the state standardized test, this is the first time that you're seeing this, and you have seen that this is important up to that point. And so, putting in that work from year long is really showing results.
Yeah, I get it. I am concerned from a parental standpoint.
You bet.
And it's hard to see my daughter physically anxious, about this. So I would love for Laney to be a great mentor to go in and talk to. I'm sure you've got different friends who feel the same way. Yeah, looking back, it would have been kind of nice if I had made the attempt.
I actually am a mentor through Project Rise, and I have a mentee. She's in 6th grade, and we get together every once in a while, and I help her if she needs any help with her academics or social help, or it's just bonding time. We just have that connection together.
Well, that's awesome. And you're such a caring person and somebody who I feel a 7th grader, because I know Jada is a 10th grader. Oh, you're nice. Cool. But I really think that you're a relatable kind of a kid. So that's cool.
And hopefully, if they were to come to the classroom, when they come to the classroom, that they can say, oh, well, they're a high school kid, they know what they're talking about.
Well, that too.
Because they're coming from experience on this.
That's too. Yeah.
And the nice thing is, and I'm right there with you, because I see that from my own personal family. I have an 11th grader and a 7th grader, and they talk back and forth. That I'm so proud of that relationship, because they're right there. and they're actually talking back and forth, and they're saying, yeah, you got to get this now, you got to do this.
Yeah.
So, yep.
You're in a good position to have, those two ages of kids. We have, kid as cute as that in our family.
Yep.
So anyway, thank you. And now we better talk about wind chill.
Okay. Yeah.
Well, it's not only wind chill, but possible winter storms. So I do have to ask, we're probably keeping an eye on the situation. Can you give us any hints on what's going on tomorrow?
I'd say stay close to your radio tomorrow. Here's the thing. We always try and make a decision as soon as we feel like we can, and it's a safe decision. And so what will happen is, our team will actually go in, and we've got a couple, and self-proclaimed. I'm not saying this in any derogatory way whatsoever. We've got a couple of weather nerds on staff, and I'm self-proclaimed with that as well. So they're high school principals also. So what we do is we'll look at things like National Weather Service. We'll look at he's got like chat boards. He's got weather models. I mean, he's pulling up a lot of different things. And so he's really into it. And so Mike will actually sit down and take in all of that information and then make a decision. Sometimes that means we're not making a decision, on a night. Sometimes that means that we're making a decision, Thursday night for a Friday morning. Sometimes that means we're going to hold off and see what Friday morning brings. There are a lot of different things that come into effect. So yeah, we're watching tomorrow's snowstorm pretty close. We just want student safety at the top of that. So we got that. Going back, a couple of weeks ago, there was some talk about wind chill. And so what we do, once again, we go with the National Weather Service. And it's out of La Crosse. And that's important here because sometimes the National Weather Service out of Des Moines, the National Weather Service out of La Crosse have two different bits of information on this topic. Let's talk wind chill. It does get pretty cold out there. What you want to watch for when it gets to be wind chill, first of all, you want to make sure that you're making the right decision for your family. Sometimes that means that, hey, we just want to get in there and we're going to drive our students to school that day. Okay, that is certainly the right thing to do. If you need a backup plan, let's have, I always joke, I always have a plan B. So, let's have a backup plan for everything. Here's the thing. When we start to really take a look at delaying or canceling because of wind chill, it is because there is a wind chill warning. There's a difference between a warning and an advisory. An advisory is warmer than a wind chill warning. So when you start to see wind chill warning, that's when we start to really seriously look at delaying or canceling because of wind chill. Other than that, it's Iowa. We encourage people to wear hats and coats, and we can get into middle school students not wearing coats. And I can go off for another, probably 20 minutes just on that topic. Yeah. So watch that wind chill warning.
All right, good deal. And I don't think the snow is actually supposed to start till about noon tomorrow. So I think the morning will be all right, but afternoon might be a little bit iffy. So we'll have to, do you know more information than I do?
No, not right now. I've been.
I think it goes back to the whole it's Iowa, so that could change in like 30 seconds.
Yep.
So keep that in mind. All right. So trivia night fact.
Yeah, trivia night fact. So because of COVID, we haven't had trivia night for the last little while, but we want to just have you put this on your calendar. This is a super fun event. It's run by our 8th grade students, and all the proceeds benefit Riverside Cemetery and Chapel. And so Saturday, March 5th at Comet Gym, doors open at 6:15 p.m. Games begin at 7. This has been just a great event. Students help write the questions. It is a community thing. It is so much fun. I know KCHA has had a team there. So Saturday, March 5th, just get it on your calendar. You're going to see some information coming out here day on our social media about sponsorship opportunities. We know that people really like this event. This is a really cool thing that goes on. It is about 40 or 50 questions. Some of them are written by the 8th grade students. And so a little bit of it is, are you smarter than an 8th grader? So
That is just, we had
want
a
to
terrific
answer
team a couple of years ago. When we had Tad Berry was here and Jamie Fuller, and they came close to winning.
They came close. I don't think they won. They came
Yeah.
close.
Yeah,
And then you got people like Kay and I.
Yeah.
Horrible. So.
but we've got some newbies in our studio, so.
That's right. That's right.
But yeah, and once again, all the proceeds from this go to Riverside Cemetery and Chapel.
All right. Good deal. So for more information on pretty much anything we talk about, it's on the website, right? Charlotte City Schools?
It is. If you go to charlotteCitySchools.org, then you will also see that we do not have school on Monday. So Martin Luther King Day on Monday. So, but
So no wonder Laney's going.
actually, ask her what she's doing in the morning. 6 o'clock in the morning.
I have a CNA class.
Oh, there's
Yeah. So
very dedication.
you bet.
Well, good deal. Well, thank you very much for joining us this morning, and I'm sure we'll talk to you here in the next couple of weeks. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. It is 32. We have your North Iowa weather coming up.
Hi, folks. It's Randy Mitchell with Farmers National Company.